evening, coons and coonettes, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. As always, I'm Justin Allen, and this is my buddy Moses Wartooth. And man, we have got a good episode for you today. But first, we have to start off and we have to remind you guys that in the description below, we have links to our Patreon and merch store. So you can get on our Patreon, see content that you don't get on YouTube or Instagram or anything else we've used in the past. And then if you really like the show and you want to support the cause, you can get on there and buy some sick-ass merch, man. I actually like the stuff, man. I've tried it out. It feels good. It's got a good fit. I mean, it's decent quality stuff. It is.
It's better than your Walmart bullshit.
Yeah. You know, the guys we partnered with to get it done, it was a good deal. It worked. You know, they make decent stuff. You know, they charge decent prices. It's
7
fair.
cents on the hour for child slaves. Not bad. Not bad.
Thank you, child slaves.
Yes.
It's probably what's happening. Who knows?
I'm sure, man. Yeah.
We've covered enough shit on this show to talk about it. But we also do have one new thing to bring to your guys' attention. So we, as you know, we don't have any sponsors on the show. We don't do anything like that. But however, we did just partner with a new company that has actually made a pretty killer-ass card game. Like you would have at any kind of event at your house. You know, you're killing a Saturday night. You want to have people over, play, you know, some games or whatever. But this game is called Another Fucking Card Game. And we were hesitant at first. We were like, okay, we got, you know, pitched for it, and we were like, well, we don't really sponsor anything. We don't really promote anything on the show.
And no one, like, we know the content that we create, and they're like, that probably doesn't line up with a lot of people's stuff.
Yeah, because there has been time in the past where people were like, hey, you know, could you advertise on your show, like, our stuff or whatever?
Yeah, and then we're like, have you seen our show?
Yeah, just watch our shorts, and you'll...
Are you sure you want to be tied up with us?
10 out of 10, they back out. But these guys, I got to give it to them, at Another Fucking Card Game is the title of the game. They did not back out. They actually loved our shit. So we got a copy of their game. We played it, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, it's actually a damn good time.
Like, I'm not just trying to sell you some bullshit. I mean, Moses and I do not stand behind anything unless we absolutely believe in it. And this is the first product that we're pushing on this show. So in the description below, you'll see their Kickstarter. This is straight off the press. I mean, you can't even get it in the stores yet. And it is worth the money to go on there and pledge to them and to get a copy of it, because I'm telling you, I have never laughed that hard at a game in my
life. If you like card games, if you like maybe, I don't know, partaking in substances or drinking a little bit, it's even more fun. It's a good game.
I will say this. Everyone harps on Cards Against Humanity being amazing, right? And Cards Against Humanity is fun. It is funny, right? But this game takes that shit to a whole other level, man.
Yeah.
And there was not one single card that I was just like, oh, this is a dead card. I don't like this.
Yeah, there was always an option to play no matter any response. It flows really well together. Yeah. It's a well-rounded, decent, fucking fun game.
Mm-hmm. So. And we got to know the creators of it, the guys who wrote the jokes in it, you know. So, you know, you'll have question cards and answer cards, and it'll be some crazy off-the-wall stuff. And, I mean, these guys are hilarious. I mean, they're funny as hell. We're actually going to do a special episode with them to interview them about the creation of this game, how it all came to be, and all that. We're really excited about it because they're just funny, man. Yeah. Like, you know, and then that sense of humor, and it is, if you watch this show, you know how we feel about free speech, you know how we feel about satire and comedy. We're on the forefront, we're in the fucking trenches with that, you know, and so
on the streets.
It's hard out here, man. And these guys are just like that, man. And so if you really care about that, and you really actually believe in that stuff, I would highly encourage you to go in the description below, click on the Kickstarter link, and then just pledge, just get the game, you know. And they have other stuff, you know, you can give more money and stuff, pledge more money, and they got some cool stuff. They'll sign some stuff for you. They got t-shirts they'll give you uncut, like framed cutout of essentially all their cards and stuff as a decorative piece for your house and all that. But I'm super excited about it. I mean, I'm telling you, even in my personal life, I don't sit there and promote products, because most of the shit made is all like some PC DEI bullshit these days. And if you get anything worth a damn, like off of Amazon or whatever, some half-ass shit just to get your money, and it's not even worth a damn half the time, you know? Like, how much crap have you bought on Amazon that just breaks the next day? But at least with this, like, there's heart and soul put into it. They're standing against censorship. That is the big thing. That's one thing.
Yeah, that's really what kind of pushed us to support this and as a whole anyway.
Yeah, and, you know, and
we gotta fight that shit.
that was one thing I really got behind. Like, when those guys started talking like that, I was like, okay, this is someone I want to listen to. Because we do get emails, we do get messages, just random off-the-wall stuff. I mean, there was once, I think there was, like, somebody trying to promote, like, yoga videos. And I was like, have you seen this show? Like, we don't, that doesn't fit in our realm at all. Nothing against yoga, but that's probably not going to really jive all that well, you know? But with these guys, we can definitely get behind it too. And we actually helped them. Moses and I, we supported it so much that they filmed a commercial for it to advertise their product. So later in the show, we will have a commercial for our first partnership that will show up. And I do recommend that you sit through and watch it because that commercial is actually pretty funny.
It is.
And it's high quality too. So professional videographer got involved. There's a lot of editing. There's a lot of time, a lot of drafting, a lot of retakes. I mean, it took quite a while to actually get through it, but we did it, and Moses and I got a pretty good part. So if you like our show, man, stay tuned, get to that, and then I think you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, it'll be around the halfway mark. So
and plus, you get to see some of our friends, right? You know, because we had friends come over and help them be actors and stuff like that, and actresses. So.
I mean, we had to pay them. We don't have any fucking friends, but you know.
But anyway, man, so we got to get on to the show. Like always, man, nothing starts anything worth a damn without a good old-fashioned terrorist attack, right?
New year, same old terror.
Now, the first story I want to cover, man, I don't know if I would actually deem this a terrorist attack.
Yeah, this is very shady, to say the least.
This gets deep. And if you're not involved out in the ether digging in this right now, you need to get your ass into that. And I'm not even joking. This isn't a conspiracy theory. There's a lot of facts to back this up. But one story that we're going to start with is the Tesla Cybertruck bombing that occurred in Las Vegas not too long ago. And the gentleman who did that, clear as day, was trying to send a message. And all we're asking is what was his point and what was that message. So we're going to watch a little clip to give a little bit of a backstory if you haven't really read into it or heard about it. And then we're going to go and break it down because I took the time and I got into it. And I watched a lot of interviews with people who were tipped off before this even happened. And there's something that runs deep and it involves all levels of government. And
what a surprise.
Yeah, I did. Like, what's funny is we've normally gone over conspiracy theories. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, cool. This ain't one of those, man. Like, this is a real thing. And I'm like, holy shit, is this really happening? But let's go ahead and watch that video, man, so we get you guys caught up with what happened with that. And then we'll go ahead and start picking it apart a little bit.
And we're learning more about the New Year's Day explosion of a Tesla Cybertruck that happened right outside of the Trump Hotel in Las Vegas. You see the video there. That includes details on the suspect and his apparent motive. Christina Coleman has more.
Bill, federal authorities identified the man who blew up the Cybertruck as 37-year-old Matthew Livelsberger of Colorado Springs. They say he was not on the FBI's radar and did not have a criminal history. They say ultimately, this appears to be a tragic case of suicide involving a highly decorated combat veteran who was struggling with PTSD and other family issues or personal grievances. They believe he shot himself in the head while inside of the Cybertruck. Today on Fox and Friends, an Army Ranger who knew Livelsberger shared his thoughts on this tragic situation.
The guy was a great dude. He was fit. He was a good shooter. He was a good communicator. So heartbreaking. I truly hope that this is a wake-up call for service members to make sure that we're checking in with each other right now.
Even though authorities say Livelsberger blew up the Cybertruck in front of Trump's hotel in Las Vegas, they do not believe he had any animosity toward the president-elect based off of their investigation. They say they found notes on one of his cell phones that was found inside of the Cybertruck, giving some insight into his mind frame and a possible motive. During yesterday's press briefing, they read off some of his notes while updating the public on their investigation.
This was not a terrorist attack. It was a wake-up call. Americans only pay attention to spectacles and violence. What better way to get my point across than to stun with fireworks and explosives?
7 people suffered minor injuries from the explosion. Authorities say this could have been much worse if the still-sided vehicle didn't absorb so much force from the blast. They also say this incident was not connected to the terrorist attack in New Orleans. Authorities are still trying to recover information from other devices that were found inside of the truck, including a second cell phone and a laptop, as part of their ongoing investigation.
All right, pretty standard brass tacks on that one, right? Like, typical mainstream media. Now,
their normal push.
Yeah, especially after a year and a half of doing this show, I'm getting pretty good at picking through that shit. But there is more to this story, a lot more. And the scary part is it's not being covered by the mainstream media. It's actually being covered by private content creators, aka podcasters. And one big one that has covered this is Sean Ryan from The Sean Ryan Show. You can find him on YouTube. Great dude. Super thorough, former Navy SEAL, very professional. This isn't a guy who's getting on there drinking beers and smoking and laughing and just doing jokes and all that stuff. Like, this is very, very factual stuff.
Like investigative journalism.
Yes. And really good show. Really good show. If you haven't watched it, highly encourage you to check out The Sean Ryan Show. Now, where this gets interesting is Matthew Livelsberger, the guy who blew up the Tesla truck. A few days prior, he had actually reached out to a popular influencer, I guess you want to call him, a guy who ran an Instagram account. I believe it was called Terminal CWO. Essentially, it was kind of like a trash account. I'll call it a trash account, but like they made a lot of jokes, a lot of memes and stuff like that. Like it wasn't really anything too serious for the most part, but it was centered around the armed forces in general, but it was really from an army perspective because he was a Green Beret. The guy who runs this channel was a Green Beret and all that stuff. So, and they were in community. It was very tight knit. So a lot of times people would share memes and stupid stuff and talk trash, but sometimes people would use it as a platform to anonymously blow the whistle on something either unethical, immoral, or even illegal at times that their chain of command was doing. So in a weird way, it became a checks and balances to keep leadership in the armed services in check. And this account got a lot of following. And obviously, I mean, there's a famous one that, because, you know, if you listen to our show, you know, Moses and I are both Air Force veterans, right? He was in Afghanistan, I was in Iraq, but there's a famous one on Facebook for the Air Force that we follow. So it's very similar to that. And a lot of funny shit, you know, but occasionally...
And there is a lot of, like you were talking about, there'll be redacted names, but emails are like shit that people have sent down.
Scandalous shit, you know? Like for
inappropriate
real.
Things or just straight out
and people,
illegal shit.
Yeah, you know? And it's almost like how media is supposed to work while we have a freedom of the press.
Like back in the day when you would slip shit to a newspaper.
Because it actually kept those who have power in check.
Yep.
Because they were like, shit, if this gets out to
there are consequences.
Yeah, but now we can't trust mainstream media. Everyone knows they're in cahoots with the government. They're paying them off. That is a known fact. Yeah. There has been congressional investigations where former directors of the CIA have openly testified under oath that, yes, they have operatives in every single mainstream media source, and they pitch narratives.
Yep.
They select and choose what information gets to you and what doesn't. And now they have their own reasons. I like to be optimistic and hope for the best and believe in a bigger picture and all this other shit, but it's fucking reality. That's probably not the case, you know? And so, but anyway, so the bomber in this Cybertruck who blew it up right outside the Trump Tower in Las Vegas, he reached out to this, we'll go ahead and call him an influencer on Instagram, right? Even though the guy doesn't really fit that kind of profile. But he had this account. And he sent him an email, and he sent him coordinates, and basically kind of told him who he was and what was going on. And it sounds wild. And I'm just going to go ahead and give you like a news flash. This ties into UAPs, aka formerly known as UFOs, all that shit we've been seeing with the Nimitz off of with Commander David Fravor off the West Coast and all that stuff where they're picking up UFOs in these fighter jets. Those were Navy fighters, but doing that, and then all the shit we're starting to see on the East Coast. Specifically, he focused on what's happening on the East Coast. And this guy knows what he's dead now, supposedly, but we'll get on that.
Yeah, that's another thing in itself.
He might still be alive. And that is where it gets twisted. But anyway, so this gentleman, the bomber, basically was in this program. Like he was aware of it. It was used in warfare that he was a part of. Because he was a Green Beret. He had multiple tours to Afghanistan. He spent a lot of time downrange. He had like an impeccable career, man. Like an amazing career. He had a TS SCI security clearance. The highest security clearance you can have. It takes you have to take a 6 to 8 hour polygraph test just as a part of that. It takes on average 2 years to go through that entire process. It is no joke. If you just have that security clearance with no college education, your salary, it's set in stone. Essentially, you're making about 100 to 120 grand a year starting out, just because it's so hard to get that security clearance. And it has to be redone every 5 years. So anyway, not a fucking easy thing to get. So he's obviously a very trustworthy person in the eyes of the government. Yeah. Has this impeccable career. Combat veteran, has done gangster shit for the government. Straight up like an American hero. He had multiple Bronze Stars. Not just one, not two, not three. I think he had 4, man. It was insane. All with valor and shit, man. Which means you have to get that under enemy fire.
Doing real shit.
Yeah. This ain't somebody shot a mortar over a fence. This is, that dude looked at me, pulled the trigger, I was faster than him kind of thing, right? And I was like, holy shit, man. So, anyway, he works in the government, and so he emails the guy who runs his Instagram account. And he kind of just tells him, it's an odd email at first because you're just like, what the fuck? And the guy actually ignored it. That's the crazy thing, is this didn't even come out until after the bombing happened. And then he was like, oh shit, that's real.
What this was about.
Yeah. And so anyway, he emails the guy who runs the Instagram account. And, the guy brushes it off because he was honest on the Sean Ryan show. He talked about it. He was like, I get tons of crazy shit all the time. Yeah. Just look at the shit that we get on our level. Now imagine if you have an account that has 1 million plus or 2 million plus followers.
You can't even keep up with that.
You can't keep up with it, man. It's insane.
And to sift through what's real and what's fake, it's impossible.
And the thing is, when they put serious stuff on there, the guy was very good about it. He was like, it has to be vetted. You have to know that there's credibility to this. You can't just make wild and outlandish claims, especially when you're dealing with topics of the government or anything that could be illegal or any of that shit, whether it be through domestic or international law. It's a, you gotta do your due diligence when it comes to covering stuff and stories and all that. Well, so in this email he writes, he essentially says who he is. He gives some information to verify that he's real, points to social media profiles, says X, Y, and Z. And, excuse me. Oh, I gotta take a sip of water. But I'm still, if you watched the last episode, I'm still kind of a little sick, but I'm getting there,
recovering.
Man. And,
it's not easy.
But he essentially said that the whole point of this was to prevent World War III. And it already sounds like some crazy shit. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And the guy goes on to explain that he had tried to reach out to mainstream media, ignored. He tried to reach out to huge podcasters, ignored. So he found a mid-tier level guy that knew bigger fish. And he was trying to circumvent to get to bigger fish to get this out here. So this guy made this attempt to tell this story, and nobody fucking listened to him. But anyway, he goes and then explains essentially that he worked on the USAP UAP program, aka all the UFO shit that you've been seeing. He was a part of it. It was used in warfare downrange. And he basically just said, it is a piece of technology that only exists. You won't find it in any college textbook. You're not going to find any record of it being real. It's literally science fiction, but it's called gravitics. And essentially, it is harnessing the power of gravity. And that is what these craft use as propulsion. Which is fucking wild, because if you go back to the Bob Lazar shit, that's the exact same shit he was talking about in 1989, right? So anyway, he said that this technology only exists in the hands of the United States and the Chinese. Nobody else has it. And that we have actually been using it in warfare, and he made some allegations to war crimes that the United States has allegedly committed with using them and bombing targets with excessive civilian casualties. It could potentially open a United Nations investigation, aka it looks bad for us and we can't have that shit, right? so
they're like, if the drone strikes weren't bad enough.
And this dude, he said this is where the program is ran out of, and he gave GPS coordinates to a building in that email. And that shit, guess where the fuck that's hanging out of? Right up Area 51's ass. And I was like, oh shit, son. So anyway, so he, and when you want to get into gravitics and you want to talk about this technology, this sounds weird. Okay, in physics, for those of you who don't know, to actually control gravity is basically physically impossible. The only thing that generates gravity is physical mass, right? So something has to be extremely heavy, extremely dense, and a lot of it to do that. We can't generate it. We don't even really know what gravity is. Like a few years ago, we just found out that it was a wave. We didn't know if it was a particle or a wave. We just found that out a few years ago, supposedly. And so we sure as fuck can't generate it. All we can do is observe the effects of it. We don't really know all that much about it. But we know that it bends space and time. Now, these craft apparently can harness the power of gravity, and they use that as their propulsion, which is why they don't have any heat signatures or any shit like that. And that is why they can move instantaneously in a split second from 80,000 feet to 50 feet above sea level.
Because they're literally bending space and
Because they're
time.
literally teleporting.
Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, I'm just going to call it what it is. And it sounds like science fiction. Even if you go and start digging into the term gravitics on the internet, you're not going to find shit. You're going to find like shit like literally is out of science fiction, like comic books and like magazines. Like it's made up. Like it doesn't exist. Obviously, it's fucking real. Something's going on. And so the thing is, the problem with these types of craft that are doing this. Now, we could get on where this technology came from. Did it originate from some shit in Roswell in the 40s? Like, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, or is it just human ingenuity? Like, is it an inevitability that we get to this point, like, through our technological advances and evolution and all that stuff? I mean, we're just taking the next leap, right? But, you know, he said with these things is they have the ability to carry a weapons payload. So now you got a craft that... standard cruising, from what I've read and looked into, goes Mach 30. Okay? That's fucking insane.
Yeah.
You know, you're going, what, like 30 times the speed of sound? Like, it's insane. And for those of you who aren't aware of that, like, the fastest shit we have, and as far as humans being able to physically pilot something without, like, passing out.
Turning to jello.
Turning into jello. Is you getting around Mach 10, it becomes a problem. Like, that's basically where we cap out. So 3 times that is what they're just cruising at, having fun with. If they're not literally, damn near call it what it is, teleporting from one place to another, right? And so he's saying that we've been using these in warfare. And that now, with this technology, because it's just us and the Chinese, there's almost no checks and balances with it. So they could fuck us up at any moment, and we could fuck them up at any moment, and you just can't stop it. Like, it's just...
The only reason that hasn't happened is because we both have it.
And he used a key term in that. Mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, that...
Ding, ding, ding. Cold War
that
again, man.
checks out, yeah.
So that's what makes it really interesting. And he said that all the shit we start seeing going in and out of the water, right? Because that was a big thing, because they started using the term USO, like unidentified submersible object, right? Yep. It's literally the Chinese launching them from their submarines in the Atlantic Ocean. That's what it is. And then, dude, when I read it in this shit and I like watched this interview and stuff, all of that UFO conspiracy shit clicked and made sense instantly. Now, I'm not saying... we could talk about, I mean, I still believe in aliens, still believe they're out there. I think that's probably where we got the idea from a lot of this shit. But I think we figured it out, you know, and...
yeah, it could have been reverse engineering.
Yeah.
Like,
and so he said that, like, literally they can just park it on top of the White House. Like, the Chinese could just park it on top of the White House and be done. Like, any second they want. But he reassured in that email, and I read this fucking email, but he reassured in it that it was just us and the Chinese that had it. That was it. Which is... fucking scary, which also makes I don't know, it just changes warfare. And then it's like, if that technology exists, if it really truly exists, I would consider it to be a crime against humanity to not have that in the public sector. Because you got to think, at that point, just for travel purposes, right, combustion engines don't matter anymore.
Yeah.
There are no more airplanes. There are no more trains and cars and all that shit. That technology solves all of that. Like, fuck going to Mars. We're going to the Andromeda galaxy. You know what I mean? Like, we're going a trillion light years that way.
Dude, fuck that. I'm trying to get to New York in 3 seconds. Like,
so, I don't know. But apparently this guy was trying to, like, blow the whistle on this shit to stop World War III from happening because tensions are heating up between us and China. And they're getting fucking ballsy. And he specifically used the verbiage that everything we're seeing on the East Coast is simply a show of force. Which makes sense. We do that.
Yeah, we always do that.
We've been a part of operations where that is a thing. I spent time in Alaska keeping the Russians at bay. I did the same shit in Germany.
Did it in fucking Korea.
Yeah. They get close to our airspace.
The annual war games.
Like. Just let them know we're keeping track, And so I don't know. But with all this shit, when they blew the lid on this story initially with mainstream media, they try to discredit this guy. They were talking about how we heard he was unstable, like he had these issues. They were talking
a PTSD veteran, like, oh god.
And the shit train just started. And then they were like saying, for whatever reason, they said his DNA didn't match his son's DNA. And they were talking about allegations of infidelity on his part and his like ex-wife's part or whatever.
So they're just trying to run his fucking name through the mud.
Yeah, just to make it seem...
That doesn't matter at all. Even if he had 12
crazy.
Illegitimate children, dude, who fucking cares? Yeah. That has nothing to do with that.
Just to make him seem crazy. Yeah. And I'm telling you right now, I know operators. I have supplied weapons to those guys. I didn't do any of that crazy shit. I just gave them the shit that went boom. That's what my job was in the military. I was like a banker for weapons, essentially, is what I was. And then so basically I gave them their shit, and then I went back and played ping pong.
Hey, Lord of War, if you will.
Yeah, Lord of War. It was funny. I used to make jokes down there because the job that I had, there was only 3 guys in Iraq that had that job at the time. And I was like, yo, bro. Essentially, I was responsible for getting all weapons from like more of an Air Force / Army kind of perspective into the country. But I knew a lot of those operators, man. Like a lot of special forces guys. Special forces being specifically to the Army, rest of it being spec ops. I mean, I've had tons of recon Marines, a lot of Green Berets. Met a couple of SEALs in passing and stuff. But I met tons of Air Force pararescue and combat controllers and shit. And I'm telling you right now, man, right now, anybody who fits those roles, when they turn it on, when they're like, you know, when they're in the zone and like, this is what I'm doing, they are a different person. When they're done, then they're Joe.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm telling you, that dude was not fucking crazy. That was not somebody who was in distress or going off fucking left
losing
field.
His mind.
No, those guys don't do that shit, man. They're highly trained before they even set foot.
Yeah, they would never be able to be in that position if they were had a predisposed tendency to act like that in the first place.
I mean, I knew guys that went through 2+ years of training before they even got to their first base, and then it was another year before they even deployed. 3 years into a 4-year enlistment before they even went downrange.
Yeah, before they did anything.
To go kill somebody.
Yeah.
You're gonna know. Like, by that time, you're gonna know if this dude can handle this shit, you know? And then they gotta do extensive psych evals, like, and then you throw in the security clearance shit. If that guy was doing any shady shit, they would have fucking known that. For sure, because they don't fuck around with that stuff. You can't even hide messages on fucking Facebook from those people, man. They dig through your ass, and they just want to know if you lie about anything. They don't give a shit, really. Like, if you're just banging shit on the side, half time they don't even give a fuck. They just want to know if you'll tell them the truth.
They ain't got room to talk anyway. Yeah, they don't
like, you know, or whatever. They just want to know if they can trust you. That's what it is. Like, can you be honest with me? Can you be a trustworthy person? Are you a stable person or whatever? I mean, yeah, they probably wouldn't give a shit if you were slamming ass all across town. I don't know. I guess it depends on the circumstances.
Depends on how honest you are with it. You're like, damn, you're smooth, dude. You can keep doing what you're doing.
You know? So, I don't know. I mean, the interview on the Sean Ryan show, it's one of the most recent episodes. It goes way more in depth. I highly encourage all of our listeners to ping on over there on YouTube and watch that, man, because that raises a lot of questions. And that makes you really wonder what the future is going to look like, you know? And I don't know. It's interesting to say.
So did he give a reason for the Cybertruck in front of Trump Tower?
Not in any of his correspondence that I saw. I didn't see. He specifically said that he was being monitored and watched and followed by either the FBI or Homeland Security, and he was talking about going to Mexico, but he wasn't sure if he was going to get over the border. He said they won't fuck with him because he is extremely armed and he has a VBID. And basically, VBID is a car bomb. It's a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device, right? And so that was known before that attack happened, that he was rolling deep with fucking explosives. Now, if you really want to think about this, this Green Beret who's had all this training and all this time downrange, they are trained in explosives. What was in that vehicle was fireworks and gasoline.
Yeah. And
he used a fucking Cybertruck.
That's, yes.
A bulletproof fucking truck. He wasn't trying to kill anyone.
Yeah, no one was hurt. Well,
he was sending a fucking message.
Yeah, it didn't even break the glass in the fucking building. And then he goes
to a tower owned by the president-elect. That dude's trying to make it on the fucking news. He's trying to say something. So he put it out there. He had that shit out there. I think he just fucking went out with a fucking bang, dude. Now, where it gets fucking crazy, some of these people he was reaching out to, they had other correspondence, like text messages through encrypted messengers like Signal, which is a big one. If you don't use that, you might want to get on board with that shit, because let's just say Meta can't be trusted. But and the crazy part is Signal essentially has a PIN, like a safety number on it, right? Mm-hmm. And only you know that. It'd be like a debit card PIN or some shit like that. How the fuck was his number changed after he died? Because that happened. Because it tells other people that shit too. So, I don't know. You tell me. Could it be the government having his shit, digging through it, fucking around? Maybe.
I don't know.
Probably. Or is that motherfucker not dead? There was some other stuff they were pointing to, like he might still be alive. So that it could just be a huge... That gets more into the real conspiracy side of it, but I think that guy had access to some fucking programs, and he knew the United States committed some fucking war crimes, allegedly, and I think he saw some shit coming with some mutually assured destruction shit, and I think he was kind of worried about it and was like, people need to actually know what the fuck is up, what the real threats are. Not this whole... Because I'm telling you, man, like the fucking technology I worked with in the Air Force, and you were around all this shit... when all that shit was popping off on the East Coast, it's still fucking going on.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no goddamn way. Because I was in a shithole in Iraq, and dude, you couldn't drop a fucking pin without those guys knowing.
Exactly. That part makes no sense. Yeah, and for them to just be like, we don't know what this is, that's a fucking lie, man.
And they don't shoot them down, they don't attempt to.
Yeah, they're like, we don't know what it is, but we're just going to leave it alone.
Yeah.
That's not a realistic situation.
Yeah, dude.
For our government, man, that doesn't happen.
It means they know what the fuck it is.
Yeah.
Now, if it's ours or somebody else's, that's a fucking question, to ask. Something's going on with that shit. And it's just crazy that it's not crazy, but it's just very, very interesting and circumstantial that this guy popped up right at that time with this information. And I definitely think there's something to it. And I think a lot more is going to come out to it. And I think it's going to come out with it. And I think it's going to be in the coming weeks. I think it's going to be blown up on mainstream media. And then they're going to be playing fucking catch up. And then going back to fucking quoting people like us, they just call fucking crazy half the time, So, but... That's my story, man, of that guy, man, Matthew Livelsberger, man. I don't think he's crazy. I think he actually did some gangster shit for the government. I think he saw some fucked up shit happening. I think he saw some fucking trouble that could be coming out of that. And I think he tried to blow the whistle. Nobody fucking listened to that guy. And I think he's fucking made him listen.
I hope he's still alive.
Oh, dude, imagine that motherfucker comes out in like 6 months. That's some Jason Bourne shit, dude. God damn, bro. I'd buy that motherfucker a drink, and then I'd be like, where did you get the body?
Yeah.
That's another question, but, whatever. We'll figure it out, So, I don't know. It's questions to ask, man. There's a lot of questions, not a whole lot of answers. But
true. But
with the Sean Ryan show, and there's a couple other people starting to cover it, it's out there now. Mark my words, the government will have to answer for this shit. And I fucking hope they don't just try to do that bullshit of like, we don't know, he was crazy. It's like, dude,
I don't know, man. How many times? Like,
the cat's out the bag, man. We fucking know.
Like, what are we gonna tell the people this time? They just flip the same card. He was crazy. It doesn't make any sense every time.
And they just start talking about like January 6th or like election being
9/11.
What happened to Tower 7, man? Never got an answer there, 'cause that shit came down like a fucking house of cards.
Jet fuel can't burn steel, man. What the fuck?
It's all true. Like
I know.
If you actually look into it, it's like, what the fuck?
Come on, this game again? Fucking boring.
It's the only thing we get. Yeah, I'm getting tired of this every Saturday night playing.
Come up with something new by now.
Another fucking card game?
This has 650 of the most offensive cards.
The biggest deck you've ever seen?
Oh, yeah.
Now I gotta see what's inside of this. What do we have? Some question cards here, and then we got a boatload of answers.
Yep.
Let's see what some of these answers might be. Buying a PVC pipe, a gerbil, and a string. All right, this sounds like an interesting night right here.
It's definitely the biggest deck I've ever seen.
Okay. Do you enjoy living in the freest country in the world that values nothing more than free speech? I bet you do. But it doesn't take a blind man to notice that you can't really say what the fuck you want anymore. Well, we have a solution to stick it to this once and for all. Look no further than another card game. With 650 of the most offensive, outrageous cards I've personally ever seen, it's sure to make your family gatherings implode like some not seen since the days of Nagasaki.
What is that beeping noise?
It's the censorship.
Dude, are we getting censored right now?
God, I'm telling you, buy another card game. It's the only way you can take your country back in one piece. Gee, here we are.
Holy shit. Just back another card game.
Seriously, it's the best you'll ever see, man. But I would like to think that our government didn't do 9/11, but I think they were just really incompetent. And I think a lot of shit got past them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna... I can't lay the entire blame on them, because you know there was other forces that were more than happy to actually do the deed. So.
Yeah, I think it happened, and they were like, "Ooh, shit, we didn't catch that."
Yeah.
You know, because the government is actually extremely inefficient. It really is,
for sure.
It really is. You know,
we will see. That will come to light even more this year in the fall. For a couple years, dude.
Dude,
So
I'm excited.
Oh, me too, man. Me too,
dude. Oh, we're gonna save so much money. So much
dude,
fucking
we're
money.
gonna save so much money, and we're gonna be so fucking mad when we find out what we've been wasting that shit on.
Oh, dude, because you know all those fucking skeletons are coming out, dude. You got a fucking dream team coming in, dude.
Yeah.
They're about to fucking shake some bushes, dude.
It's a fucking exciting time for politics, man. Like,
Yeah.
Last year was exciting for totally different reasons, but this time it's all positivity, man. Like, I feel good about this shit.
Yeah, dude. It's like the director, the guy who's going to be appointed as director of the FBI, that Kash Patel dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's already straight up. He's like, I'm gutting this fucking agency.
Yeah, that's why they do not want that dude. They were like, shit.
They're like freaking the fuck out right now.
Yeah.
Just shredding shit,
Dude,
burning stuff,
yeah.
you know? Like Enron when it was going
100%,
down.
man, yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know what the fuck is gonna come out of all that shit, man, with a Tesla truck bomber. Hopefully we get some fucking answers, because I want to know, man. Like,
Yeah.
you know, had I not seen proof that guy was reaching out to people and sending fucking evidence, and he was backing up his claims with as much evidence as he could. Had I not seen that, I could have written that off. To that might have been.
You could have believed the fucking media.
Yeah, that might have been someone who just was going through it and made a horrible choice.
Yeah, tried to commit an act of terrorism.
But everything I see there is he was trying to send a message.
Sending a message makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you look at the situation, you look at what happened, that's what makes sense.
Yeah, and you know, and it's like terrorism is defined as any act of violence used to essentially convey a political message or to influence like a political agenda, like to pursue a political
Which we will get into talking about an actual terrorist attack.
actual terrorist attack.
Yeah.
And the reason why terrorism is like so, like, I mean, obviously it's a horrible thing and stuff, but the reason why people go after, like governments go after it so hard, is because it actually, I'd say this very hesitantly, but it is actually very effective at achieving its goal.
Yeah.
As far as getting people to listen to what the fuck you're saying.
That's why extremists love it so much.
Yes. Because nobody listens to people protesting in the street.
No.
You know, but a fucking building blows up, a car blows up, some shit like that, people start
An
paying
act
attention.
of violence.
People start paying attention real fucking quick. And
that's a sad reality.
So we got to get onto this one. This is an actual terrorist attack. So obviously this is really unfortunate. It was unnecessary. It's fucking horrible. This is fucking retarded.
This one fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, dude. And we're talking about the terrorist attack in New Orleans that just occurred. And I've been on this street. I lived in Louisiana for a few years. I've been to New Orleans multiple times. I have walked Bourbon Street, enjoyed it. It's an amazing atmosphere. It's an amazing city. Yeah, like any other big city in America, it has its issues, but I mean, it's a lot of history. It's a lot of culture. It's a great fucking time. I encourage everyone to go down there and visit at least once. But unfortunately, there was a fucking regurgitated piece of human shit that decided to ram a truck through a crowd of people in New Orleans and then get out and start opening fire. And I believe, if I remember right, he killed, 12 people?
I think the numbers have been raised to 15 at this point, but I'm not totally sure on that.
And so, but we got a clip here we're going to watch, just like we did the last one, to kind of cover a backstory, then we'll get on it a little bit more.
New Year's Day terror attack in New Orleans, the city holding a vigil overnight for the victims as we learn more about the suspect behind the wheel. ABC's Christian Cordero joins us with the latest. Christian, good morning.
Whit, good morning. Among what investigators are looking at right now are videos the suspect posted on social media before the attack, shedding light on a potential timeline of his radicalization. This morning, chilling new details seem to paint a picture of the suspect's mindset in the hours before the New Orleans attack. Sources tell ABC News around 1 a.m. New Year's Day, Shamsuddin Jabbar made multiple videos in that rented pickup truck, saying in one of them, "I wanted to record this message for the family. I wanted you to know that I joined ISIS earlier this year." He spoke in calm tones, sources add, and hinted that he had contemplated harming members of his own family, but wanted to do something bigger that would steer focus to what he called the war between the believers and disbelievers, telling his family, "I don't want you to think I spared you willingly." As investigators pour through the suspect's physical and digital footprints, the FBI also urging any survivors of the attack to come forward if they have not done so already, saying it has received almost 1,000 tips in the first 2 days of its investigation, as it expands resources for those affected by the tragedy. On the streets of the French Quarter, a new construction zone on Bourbon Street, the city installing those new security bollards that were being replaced before the attack. Now moving with urgency ahead of the Super Bowl next month. Overnight, a vigil for the 14 lives lost.
She was a caring person. She worked in nursing homes.
Courtney Polk remembers her older cousin, Latasha Polk.
She was always a happy person. Some mother, she leaves behind a son.
So far, there is no evidence any of Jabbar's social media videos were flagged to law enforcement before the attack. Now, tomorrow, President Biden and First Lady Jill Biden are scheduled to visit New Orleans to grieve with the community.
Okay, so that's an act of fucking terror.
Yeah, 100%, you know? And, you know, the crazy part is the New Orleans attacker, have you seen how they're trying to link him to the Las Vegas bombing?
Some sources are and some aren't. It's another...
I'm going to go ahead and call bullshit on all that right now because...
Well, so far, from what I've saw, the the Las Vegas Police Department have been like, there's no connection. And then New Orleans are kind of like, there could be a connection. So it's like conflicting stories. I'm siding with Vegas. I don't
think there's anything there. No. Because the biggest things that I've heard is, so the New Orleans attacker was an Army veteran as well. Mm-hmm. And he was stationed they basically crossed paths with the Las Vegas bomber. So they were stationed together at Fort Bragg, I believe. They did time downrange in Afghanistan. They were at the same base. But anybody who has any experience with the military knows Fort Bragg is a huge base, man. Like, what about fucking 50, 80,000 people probably there, man, you know? And then it's like any deployed location, it's a constant rotation of just tens of thousands of people coming through, man. And that's just circumstantial evidence. That's just a coincidence. There's nothing fucking there, man. You know?
Yeah, one man literally said, I joined ISIS earlier this year, and the other guy was trying to send warning signals about fucking UAPs and shit. I kind of think there's a little bit of a difference. I don't know what dots those people are connecting, but
holy fuck, ISIS has UAPs. It's fucking ISIS. God damn it. You know? So, I don't know, man. I don't think there's a connection between the two. But obviously, that guy, I mean, fuck him, first of all, dude. And I mean, I'm taking a fucking no quarter fucking attitude with this shit now, dude. Like, fuck trying to be understanding. Like, it's time to draw.
There's no understanding on their side, why should there be understanding?
I've seen some bullshit where people are talking about, like, he was a great guy, no one ever saw it coming, like, yada, yada, yada. I'm like, fuck that. Did you just see what I saw? You know? Like, take that motherfucker out.
He literally just said he wished he could have killed his own family, but wanted to do something greater. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, what the actual
How
fuck?
is that? I don't sound like a nice guy to me, man. Like, I don't know.
You know? So, keep that southern border open is all I'm saying, man. You get more of that shit coming through. Even though he didn't come from there, I'm just saying, when we covered on other episodes, man, that shit is coming through there, man. But, yeah, dude, and it's just, I'm like, what the fuck is the problem here? And I almost wish they didn't fucking kill him, you know? Because my big thing is, like, they need to die. I don't believe in putting them in prison. Like, fuck that. But if you can get them alive, and then you can get every goddamn piece of information out of those motherfuckers that you can,
and then you
put a bullet in their fucking head. You know what I mean?
We don't condone violence.
Yeah. it's all hypothetical and shit. You know, America just needs to go back to its fucking roots, you know? 2 in the chest, 1 in the head. Shoot first, ask questions later, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man, you know? And what's crazy, to come back to the Sean Ryan show, man, there's an episode, I believe it was episode 161, I think. I'm probably misquoting that because it's old, like a year and a half old. There was a CIA operative, or I believe analyst, named Sarah Adams that was on his show. And she predicted tons of shit that has been happening. And now that episode is blowing the fuck up right now. Oh, yeah, dude. She used to work for the CIA. She got out, became a civilian, all this shit. And then she was like, hey, like, this is kind of what the world's really like. This is what's going on. She touched on a lot of topics. And I kind of do want to talk about a couple of those. But she talked about how essentially, like, in the coming couple of years, there's going to be a lot of terrorist attacks in the United States. Like, it sounds like bullshit. And I know normally we're joking around on our show. This is like a more fucking serious show. But like, yeah,
our open border, dude. That there's no denying that shit. It's an issue,
man. So, okay, so I want to talk about one thing. We're gonna loop this all back into the New Orleans attacker, right? So she talked about. Have you heard about invisible bombs?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Al Qaeda specifically. But ISIS, basically, it's pretty much all blended into one and the same. Like all these extremist groups. Is one thing that she was saying. She was like, yeah, they have their own factions and stuff.
They really, at the end of the day, they have the same belief.
Yeah.
Like,
and so they have got with chemists and engineers and all this shit, and they have created new bombs that are completely 100% undetectable. They can't be picked up on X-ray. They can't be picked up by bomb dogs. None of the swabs fucking work. Nothing. You can wear it and walk right through a metal detector and it will work on any commercial airliner. And that is happening right now. And Al Qaeda specifically is bragging about it. And the reason why I'm talking about Al Qaeda, because everyone thinks it's something in the past. It's fucking over. It's not.
It's the same group with different names.
You know who's leading it now? Osama bin Laden's son. And you know what that motherfucker said? By the end of this year, 50 to 60,000 American citizens will be killed. And he wants the caliphate. So he wants the caliphate, the Islamic caliphate, ISIS's goal, essentially. I know going Al-Qaeda to ISIS, but it's all the same.
One and the same, yeah.
Yeah, and he wants that in his lifetime. Essentially, Islam controlling.
Yeah, the eradication of
everything else. You know, and
genocide.
Yeah. Sharia law, all that fucking bullshit, man. And the thing is, bin Laden had those same beliefs. But he said that he knew, and he openly wrote about this, that it was a long thing, that it could take close to 1,000 years to achieve. But his son wants it.
He's impatient.
He wants it in one generation. And that motherfucker's talking some crazy shit right now, dude. And I was listening to this stuff, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like, how is this not like all over the news right now, man? Like, take that motherfucker out, dude. But I don't know, man, but those those invisible bombs like kind of scare the fuck out of me, because that's what I did in the military. It was, I built explosives for the Air Force essentially, and looking at that, just what I know about the mechanical and electrical components and then explosive components, I'm like, how is this possible? Like, what have they done? And it's fucking terrifying. And and these are professional people who are talking. These are not outlandish claims. Like, this is factual evidence. They know for a fact this is happening. And so, I don't know, man. I'm not looking at getting on a fucking plane anytime, goddamn soon. Like, fuck that, dude. But
because okay, so my initial thought is what makes the most sense. It would be multiple attacks all at once.
Yes.
Obviously,
yes.
like that would on like fucking Thanksgiving.
Sure.
Have like 75 different people. Yeah, Super Bowl.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. And like, dude, if the government just doesn't buckle down, I'm not saying we got to live in some fucking Fourth Reich fascist.
Yeah, because control. Then that brings up that issue of like pandemic volume 2 when we're fucking suppressed and can't do shit again.
But it's like,
then where's the balance?
If you got to secure your fucking border, you got to do checks on shit. You got everything is in motion already to do. Just do your fucking job. Yeah. That's all it is, man. And it's just driving me fucking bonkers with the shit, man. It's like, what the fuck? Are you actively working against us? It's starting to seem that way.
Last 4 years.
So it's like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
But so yeah, man, that's that lady, I mean, she talked about some wild stuff with that, and it was really fucking alarming. Like, there's a whole nother wave of this radical Islam shit that's coming our way.
And that's completely believable.
Yeah. And, I read into this and watched other stuff too, and there's sleeper cells in America right now.
100%.
They know
100%.
For a fact are here. And it's, it's kind of, sorry, my phone was ringing. It's very alarming. And then I was listening to the Sean Ryan show, one of the more recent episodes about the Las Vegas bomber, right? And they were talking about something I had no idea about, hadn't heard about. Have you heard about the fucking, the Iranian missiles that made it across the southern border into the United States, and they haven't fucking found them? Apparently, Iran smuggled fucking missiles through the southern border, SAM missiles, surface-to-air missiles, and is trying to find a place to set them up. And apparently, the whole intent was to shoot down fucking Donald Trump's plane. And it was so credible. They knew it was fucking going. Apparently, they had tabs on it, and then they lost them. They don't know where the fuck they went. And so they had Trump actually flying on like makeshift commercial airliners and shit for the longest time. Yeah. And so I'm like, is it? Now, I haven't seen actual proof of that. I mean, those are credible people talking about. I trust that they know what they're talking about. But I'm like, is that what the fuck? Is that the level we're at right now?
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's not out of the realm of possibilities. Like, that's completely believable shit. So, that's fucking insane, man.
But it's racist to build a wall.
Right.
And it might make sense why that motherfucker wants to build one so goddamn quickly, really. Because it ain't the fucking Mexicans that are a goddamn problem.
No.
No. It's the Iranians smuggled fucking
Those men have done
SAMs.
nothing to us. I like those guys.
Yeah. I'm worried about the fucking Iranian missiles we can't find. That's what I fucking
and the
want.
fucking Chinese, man. Jesus.
Something's going on, man. Like, I know it sounds tinfoil hat, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, man. And I just, maybe some Alex Jones shit, but I'm fucking telling you, man, these people are credible as fuck. And that's what gave weight to everything that I was reading. I was like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, how the fuck can this be a thing? The world, I don't know, dude. It's just getting crazy, and I don't want to say America got weak, but we got complacent. We got
weak.
We got weak. And motherfuckers got fucking, they got a little tested. They get a little froggy, dude.
That's what happens. I mean,
yeah, it is. It 100% is.
Well, dude, it's like if you let a dog get away with shit, if you let a kid get away with shit, they keep pushing. I mean, world powers are the same shit, dude.
Yeah, and before you know it, it's out of your hands. You can't control it.
Yep.
Fucking cat's out the bag on that one, dude.
Yeah, you got a dog biting a child and shit.
I don't fucking know. We were supposed to do that little commercial in the middle of this, but I think we're going to put that at the end, right?
Shit got a little too real.
I don't know. We'll find somewhere to throw that shit. I just thought of that shit. But I don't know, man. It's just, I don't feel that secure right now. And for the first time, the only time I've ever experienced that was after 9/11, but I was a young kid. I was in the 5th grade when that happened. But for the first time in my adult life on domestic soil, I don't feel that secure. And that is not a fucking good feeling, man. Because I already knew about some shit from my time in the military, like threats that were out there, overseas stuff, and I was like, okay, that's kind of like over there, You're talking
like
about
out
here.
of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, you're talking about here, man. What the fuck is going on? Why the fuck we give you guys hundreds of billions of dollars or trillions of dollars in spending budget? Like, what are you spending this goddamn money on? You got fucking Iranian drones making it, or fucking missiles making it across the border, I don't fucking know, man. I don't know.
And we're still sending billions to the Ukraine.
Yeah.
Like, shit, man.
But all that's about to come to the end because as the day of filming this, it is January 6th, folks. And what does that mean? That means fucking...
New sheriffs in town.
New sheriffs in town, baby. Woo! I'm optimistic there.
Yeah.
God damn, dude. We barely got through that. I didn't think he was... I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have lost.
No, I was fucking I was on the fence about it, man.
Yeah.
I did not have hope.
Yeah, but Senate had to they had to confirm the votes, man. And who's in charge of the Senate? The vice president. Who's the vice president? My favorite person, Kamala motherfucking
We all
Harris.
know her. You know her, ladies and gentlemen.
Step right up. The woman I made fun of relentlessly for years now, But that made me feel good, But we do have a little clip over that we're going to watch a little bit about, but it's pretty straightforward, man.
Yeah.
Will take place again, but this time it'll be Vice President Kamala Harris who will be overseeing the counting and certification of Donald Trump's 312 electoral college votes and her own defeat. To note, there is no talk of objecting to the certification of these results. Now, this will be the first formal act of business for this new Congress after it formally reconvened on Friday. Speaker Mike Johnson's narrow victory to win back the gavel is an early indicator of just how little wiggle room the Republicans in the U.S. House will have to push forward President-elect Trump's legislative agenda in this Congress. Just how little wiggle room? Well, there could be a situation this winter, Joe, where Republicans in the House could be in a position where they may be only able to afford losing the vote of one Republican unless Democrats come to their support on some of those votes. Now, this is going to be a bigger majority for Republicans in the Senate. It's going to be 53 to 46. And for the first time, though, they will not be led by Mitch McConnell. Instead, it'll be Senator John Thune of South Dakota who will serve as the Senate Majority Leader and be the one leading the way to navigate President-elect Trump's legislative priorities on immigration, energy policy, and tax cut extensions. This is going to be a big few weeks ahead for Republicans in Washington, D.C.
Dude, talk about throwing salt in an open wound,
Hey, I mean...
Not only do you lose, but then you got to sit there and confirm.
You're like, yes, it's true.
It's like that Simpsons meme where everybody's looking at like Bart Simpson and it's like, say the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude. I saw that. I was like, holy shit, man. But I don't know, nothing happened at the Capitol this year. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet security was a tight motherfucker up there.
Oh,
dude.
I'm sure.
You think they still got those fucking fences and shit?
I don't know.
I'm sure
they probably do.
Probably.
They might take them down after the 20th, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like, all right. I think these guys will chill out
Yeah.
for a while. I think all these FBI agents will calm down.
Yeah, they'll start fucking instigating shit.
Which is a real thing. Not just from there, but it happens all the time. I mean, Alex Jones blew the lid off that years ago and talked about it. It is like a thing that the feds do. They
dude, set up patsies all the damn time.
Yeah, it really is a thing, Dude, I don't know, man. I don't even consider myself to be a conspiracy theorist at this point. I'm just more of a goddamn realist.
It's like a fucking truth finder at this point, man.
You sound crazy if you start talking about that shit,
Yeah.
They actually have secret agents that go in and
that infiltrate small societies and corrupt them and make them do illegal things.
There's Iranian surface-to-air missiles, somewhere lost in the United States.
The Chinese can control gravity.
It's all fucking true. That's the craziest part, man. know? And maybe that's just kind of the world we're living in. You know, make you seem fucking
2025, man. Just sheer insanity.
I think a lot of shit is gonna come out, dude. We're gonna have our fucking mind blown, dude. At this point, I'm waiting on aliens to walk out on the White House lawn,
dude. Maybe they're gonna fucking come out with a T-Rex on a chain, like, dude, fuck everything.
Turns out we've had dinosaurs this whole fucking time.
They've been under the White House.
So I don't know, but I am excited about the next administration coming up. Obviously, if you watch the show, you know that we're no fucking secret.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, although we have made fun of Trump, I will give us
for
that.
sure.
You know, we try to keep it a little balanced, but with the comedy stuff. But we have.
I mean, that dude's a fucking comedy goldmine. You can't help it. So.
Yeah, and that's one thing I'm excited. I'm like, fuck, dude, I got 4 years of content. Right?
And dude, he talks every day, man. He's get like the amount of speeches that man gives is impressive to say the fucking least.
I couldn't do it.
Hell no, dude. But he loves that shit, man. He loves it.
And the fucked up part is he just goes off the cuff.
And he's good,
man.
yeah.
He's good at it.
He's like speeches, like he doesn't have anything.
That shit out there, you know. So I don't know, man. You think he's gonna start some wars? You think he's gonna end them?
Man, he's gonna end some, and then some probably gonna pop up. It's inevitable, man.
You think he's gonna just take Iran's ass out once and for all?
I hope so.
Why not? It'd be kind of cool. Just see it, you know, just bloop, glass castle.
Yeah, like the Putin situation.
That's sticky.
I'm over that shit, man. I'm tired of it. I don't
be done with it, man.
Yeah, like I don't know. I feel like Putin and Trump can have a civil relationship. So
yeah, I remember they were giving him shit for like having like a decent relationship.
Yeah, and he was like, "Isn't that what?" He was like, "Isn't that what you would want world leaders to have? Is like the understanding and able to communicate."
It's like, what's the alternative?
Biden in a fucking hole. Putin's like, I ain't spoke to that dumbass in 3 years.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3 years. He hasn't even spoke to him.
Yeah.
Because I remember when Tucker Carlson went over there.
Yeah, he said, and that was a while ago, and he ain't talked to him since then, and that was a couple of years. Like
that's fucking scary, dude. Like that's a superpower. Like, not just some little shit fuck country.
That is fucking Russia.
Superpower. Yeah, dude. You know the guys who like take baths in ice water and wrestle bears and shit?
Yeah.
Like those
Jump
guys.
off of buildings and shit.
Yeah, you don't want to talk to those guys?
Meanwhile, we're cleaning up the streets for fucking Xi Jinping to show up, but Putin's off the table.
But I don't know. I'm excited about this administration coming in, dude. However, you know, the fuckery and the crazy shit always comes at the end of a term, right?
And we're not gonna get everything we want, obviously, but we're in the right direction.
Yes.
That's all we can ask for.
You know, when a president's going out the door, they always do a couple little things at the end. So, little surprises here and there. You know, started with some pardons. You know, all presidents do that their last term. Their last few days in office. Like
that's part of it.
Pardon all their buddies. Mm-hmm. Everyone has done that.
I don't even have a problem with that.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, like can you say that you would do any different? Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like when we called fucking Biden pardoning Hunter. Like we called that fucking a year ago.
Because it's what you would do.
As soon as he said, "I'm not going to pardon my son," we came on here and we're like, "That's exactly what he's going to do." It's
his son, man. Come on, like.
Can you blame the guy?
Right, like from a morality standpoint, but dude, that's family.
Yeah, it made sense to me, but everyone was like believing it. Like all the Democrats,
they were like, "Oh, he wouldn't do that. He's such a good person." Like, like, dude,
really?
Get off your fucking high horse, man. Come on.
Really? You know?
Because he has such a stellar track record of being honest from the past. Like, come on.
Hey, man, that's why he got kicked off that presidential camping in what was it, 80s? He got caught fucking lying his ass off.
Yeah.
And they were like, nah, you ain't doing this shit. But anyway, so Sleepy Joe decided to pull some interesting shit the other day and decided to give out the Presidential Medal of Freedom to 19 people. And for those of you who don't know what that medal is, that is the highest award that a civilian can receive in the United States. And it comes from the president. A lot of very influential and famous people have gotten it over the years. A lot of humanitarian work, philanthropists, things of that nature.
People that might arguably deserve it.
Yeah. You know? Now, what we got here with these 19 people is a bag of mixed nuts, to say the least, dude. Holy shit. I don't even know if I want to say anything. I just kind of want to watch the video.
Yeah, let's watch this shit because it's funny.
Tonight, 19 new recipients of the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the nation's highest civilian honor. A class of athletes, actors, politicos, scientists, and cultural icons.
You feed the hungry. You give hope to those,
it was Jane Goodall,
those who are hurting. And you craft the signs and sounds, our movements and our memories.
Is that
a lengthy standing ovation for Hillary
she deserves
Clinton.
I like champs.
Yeah, monkeys are cool.
The former First Lady, Senator, and Secretary of State, applauded as the first major party female nominee for president. Biden also praising chef and humanitarian Jose Andres, his World Central Kitchen soldiering into war zones and communities devastated by natural disasters to help people in dire need. And a powerful moment with Michael J. Fox. Fighting the ravages of Parkinson's disease, the star of TV and film taking to the stage as an advocate for Parkinson's research and development.
The Presidential Medal of Freedom is awarded to George W. Romney.
An emotional former Senator Mitt Romney accepting the honor for his father.
It just keeps getting worse, dude.
Governor and auto industry executive. President Biden also celebrating the basketball career, business acumen, and community activism of Magic Johnson.
That face, man.
Biden easily drape his medal despite their...
Just turn it all into a fucking cartoon, dude.
And a suave Denzel Washington, lauded as one of the greatest actors of all time, marking the moment with a long embrace for Biden, who's bestowing his last round of medals.
He just likes his movies.
Yeah.
His presidency.
I'm grateful.
Bono
will inspire for generations to follow.
Aaron Gilchrist, NBC News, Washington.
Dude, if I would have named those names, that lineup, before we played that clip, nobody would have believed that shit. You know? Like, dude, I saw Hillary Clinton get it. I was like, God damn, bro. Like, out of all those scandals and shit, like, that's...
Medal of Freedom? Freedom?
A fucking war criminal, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. You know, not to mention all the Epstein shit.
Yeah, just an unconvicted, straight-up murderer anyway. Jesus, where's your chef? Where's your pool boy? Like, come on.
You know, it's crazy. They didn't show his face, but George Soros got it as well.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't show him. That is kind of weird, but...
It's like, what the fuck is going on?
Even they were like, okay, we can't show this. In good faith, we can't show this man getting this award.
Mitt Romney's like the biggest rhino in politics now, dude. For those of you who don't know, it's a Republican in name only. He's a Democrat, dude.
Yeah, and if you have to, if you're saying an auto executive is going to get a Medal of Freedom... I don't know about that.
I'm not denying these are not. I'm not saying these aren't influential people.
Some of them I will. I'm cool with.
But it's like, dude, Hillary Clinton and George Soros, like, come on. And then, like, you know, they're trying to say all these things about these people and stuff. And I like how Denzel gets up there and it's just like being like a major.
He's
actor.
like just a badass actor.
Yeah. And it's just like, did Biden just watch American Gangster the night before? It was like, oh, you see this shit?
I want to see that guy. Get him in.
He's like, my man. What if he said, my man? Like, when he got like, hell yeah, dude. But fuck, dude. I don't know. It's like it's a goddamn cartoon. It's a circus. It's a fucking circus, you know. And I don't even believe it half the time.
He's really he's ending his political shit on a high note, I guess, on a note of insanity.
Dude, I don't know. He's not there, man. Yeah, that's probably why they pushed through all those fucking pardons. What do you sound like, 1,500 of them?
I don't even know.
Yeah, it was something like, it was an insane amount. I think it's like the highest ever that's been signed by any president.
But yet he still didn't pardon the dude who's still in prison for running the Silk Road.
Yeah.
Which is fucking bullshit.
Yeah, dude. And then also Ed Snowden, man.
True.
Like, pardon that guy.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, did he, you know, could you call it treason what he did? I mean, he called the government on doing some dirty shit, man, you know, and he didn't get anybody killed. He went through all the appropriate channels like the media and stuff like that. You know, he didn't go sell it to the Chinese and all that shit.
Yeah.
And that motherfucker's still having a hideout in Russia. Well, fuck me, you know. But I don't know. I actually like Snowden. I read his book, Permanent Record. It fucked my head up, dude. Fuck that. That's why I don't fuck with social media and this shit. But yeah, man. I don't know. It's a whole it's a goddamn cartoon, man. And I'm glad it's almost over.
Yeah.
You know,
we're winding down.
A couple more days, 2 more weeks.
Yeah.
And then, buddy, you know, day one with an executive orders though. Woo, boy, he's gonna be cha-chang, cha-chang, dude.
Let him flow.
Sending that shit, man. And so I don't know. We'll see what the fuck happens. But I'm optimistic about it.
I am too. Yeah, it'll be good. A lot of crazy shit happened in the world, obviously. Yeah, but
for sure,
we got to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, I think it's gonna get a little rough for a little while because you got to course correct. But
yeah, we got a lot of work ahead of us. I mean,
yeah. But I mean, just hang in there, be optimistic, man, do the right thing. Especially now with all the shit that I've been reading, I'm just gonna fucking say it, man. You see something, say something, man. You see some fucking weird shit, dude. Just, it's better be safe than sorry, dude. But my 2 cents, I'd say the fuck out of any goddamn sports arenas and off fucking airliners for next year or so. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what? Maybe we're just going to a cabin and we're not flying to Florida or some shit, you know? So, but anyway, man, I think that's the show. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Dumpster Diaries Podcast. Like we said in the beginning, man, check out the merch store, check out the Patreon, and check out another fucking card game. We're going to throw that commercial in here. It's going to be pretty good, man. It is a fun game. It's worth it, and it supports a good cause. So freedom of speech, anti-censorship, all that good shit.
All the shit that we believe in.
Yeah, the reason why you're still listening to us talk right now, man. But take care, guys, and we will see you next week.